I love this man. I've known him since I walked into Los Angeles, California in 2003. I'll be, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we met around a poker table, and I've just enjoy his company immensely. You've enjoyed his work in shows like Spin City and, of course, currently on The Goldbergs, Curb Your Enthusiasm, also on Mad About You. Your kids definitely know his voice from Cars film, Inside Out, A Bug's Life, and more. And he is in Hudson Falls, which is available on Amazon this summer. My friend Richard Kind on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Richard?
I just want to go skateboarding with you. That's what I want to do. Let's pick it back up again now that we're of a certain age.
I think so. And by the way, I appreciate you including me of a certain age. When was the last time you've been on a skateboard, Richard Kind? When was the last time?
Listen, there are certain things in the world that you have to acknowledge you don't like. Skiing and skateboarding are two of them.
Skiing?
I don't like them. I don't like speed. I don't like cold. I don't like falling down.
Yes.
I don't like hurting myself. And that is why I play golf and tennis.
Now, tennis. I haven't played tennis with you. I've played golf with you. How are you as a tennis player, Richard?
I used to be very good. I'm not good anymore.
Okay.
If you watch another show that you should mention, which is really, really good.
Yes.
And since your audience, I sort of know what your audience is like.
Yes. Okay, Richard.
And I think that they would like this show that was on Amazon called Red Oaks.
Oh, yes. Speaking of
it's
tennis.
It's a very good show. And that really was the last time I played tennis seriously because my son played a tennis pro on that show. And I had a couple of scenes where I played tennis. And so I had to just pick it up again.
So did
I'm no good anymore.
Did Soderbergh make you play tennis to get that gig, Richard, on that show?
No.
No?
No. You can always fake it, which I faked looking better than I am. But I was on the high school tennis team, so I was okay.
Okay.
I had a cross-court shot that was great because I was a fat kid and I didn't want to run, so I had to hit winners. And so I would have a cross-court shot just in between the baseline and the service line, and it would hit the out-of-bounds line, and they couldn't get it. And that was my shot. And once they realized that was my go-to, it would be like, I'd win 6-1, 6-2, and then it became 0-6. 0-6, 0-6.
Well, Richard, and now you've chosen another profession, which all you do is hit winners, Richard. We know that. That's all you do is hit winners.
Of course I do. Yeah.
So before
anyway, not on the golf course anyway.
Now, hold on a second. What's your handicap right now, Richard? What is it? What's your index?
All right. My index now is much higher than I want it to be. It's about a 16. But I used to be pretty good.
I know.
You go from living in L.A.
Yes.
and being single to moving to New York and having 3 children, and it just ruins your golf. It just sucks. I do not encourage parenthood or urban living. It just kills your golf game. But I as you know, I've been playing because I've been out there working.
Yes.
And when I've been out there because of work. And, let's say you work 1 or 2 days a week on the particular show that you're doing, that leaves 4 or 5 days of which you can play golf, which I did. And I started getting better again. Well, so I'm very happy about that.
Well, we have to play, Richard, because, my handicap currently is just a hair under 20 because I'm, again, the weather aspect I've got for me, but, I've got 3 beautiful children.
I know. And let me tell you something.
Yes, Richard.
Beware of getting addicted to that place and the game.
Okay.
Beware.
I know. It is.
In fact, golf should be learned by young people and not picked up again until you're 38.
Richard,
because
yes.
when you're young,
yes.
you have the ability to turn, and your body allows you to turn like a golfer should.
Yes.
But the game is addictive, and at a young age, you should be concerned about school and then about work and business and becoming wealthy so that you can play golf more often when you get into your late 30s and 40s.
Life
so it's all about...
It's life according to Richard Kind, everybody, here on the Rich
I
Eisen
am
Show.
a life coach.
You are.
Just don't come at me with any sort of psychological or emotional problem. Everything else I can take care of.
So let's talk about why you were out here in Los Angeles before we get to Hudson Falls on Amazon. You're out here, and I know this from somebody other than you. In case this is a Fight Club situation, you're not supposed to talk about Fight Club. You're shooting the current season of Curb out here in Los Angeles, California.
I am. I've been lucky enough to be on one of the episodes. Last year I was on 3. This year so far I'm only on the 1. But having done it and finished it, it's simply hilarious. I don't think it will disappoint.
Okay.
And I got to work with people I love, and I got to work with people I admire and didn't really know, Patton Oswalt and Vince Vaughn.
Oh.
And they are superior people and superior improvisers.
Well, and
they are fantastic.
And again, because you just get basically the broad strokes of what Larry and the rest of the crew there want the scene to be about, and then off you go, right? Is that the way it basically works?
Here's what I liken it to. I said, let's say somebody gives you an O. Henry story. Okay, so you read the story, and each couple of pages is considered a scene. And they say, you know the story, you know what has to happen, go and improvise what it would sound like. This is not ad-lib, this is improvised.
Yes.
And you do it a couple of times, and the more you do it, the more semblance and structure you get to the scene, and you get to what the essence of the scene is, in this case, what Larry wants. And he puts them all together by editing, and he gets a half hour out of it.
Unbelievable. When did you meet Larry? When's the first time?
And I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
The scenario that Larry writes is quite detailed. It has no dialogue, but everything that he wants to have you know about the characters, about the emotional state, about what happens in the scene and why it's important to tell this scene is all written there like a short story. It's quite detailed and quite fascinating. But there's no dialogue.
No dialogue.
You just make up the dialogue.
When did you first meet Larry David, Richard Kind? When did that happen?
Richard Kind. Did you just do that in because people wouldn't recognize my voice?
No, Richard. No, I'm on the radio, so it's called a radio reset. I'm a lead pipe wielding professional. Is basically what I'm trying to do.
Yes, you are. You know, and I was thinking of this.
Yes.
You are the luckiest. You and I
are
the luckiest men in the world. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, Richard.
Because you are a gregarious, personable, wonderful man who enjoys the company of other people. And you want to learn about them. And what more do you get to do than have this, I don't know how long you're on, an hour, 2 hours?
3.
Every day?
3.
3 hours.
Yeah.
You get to talk to people. This is what you love to do.
I do.
And when you're not doing this, what do you love more than anything else?
Talking to people.
Sports.
Yes.
You get to analyze sports. Your whole life is an extracurricular activity. You don't have a job. You were born to this.
You know what?
On the other hand, was born to do what I love to do. I love going on a set and playing pretend and going to act. We are the luckiest men in the world.
We are.
We just are.
We are.
We're very lucky. I think we just fell into this, and we were lucky, and we're just lucky. Anyway, let's talk more about me. What was the question about?
When did you meet Larry David? It's, I think, what the original question was. Okay,
I'm going to tell you where I first met Larry David, because it's pretty funny.
Okay.
I had never met him before.
Okay.
I didn't know him, but, he sort of knew me, I guess, from TV. I sort of knew him. This is a very funny story. This is the first time I ever met him. I'm at there are 2 golf courses in Pasadena, called Brookside, right by the Rose Bowl.
Okay. Yes.
There is a hole, like the 12th, 13th, or 14th hole, which is a par 3, and because it's a public course, there's usually a backup. It's a par 3. So we were backed up about 2 or 3 foursomes. So he's sitting there on the bench. I come up, and there he is, and I recognized him from Friday. He recognized me because I had been on TV. So we are convivial. How are you? And I, of course, say, so what are you doing? And he says like this, okay? He goes, I'm working on a pilot for NBC with Jerry Seinfeld. Now, you have to understand, you must go back and clear your mind.
Yes.
Seinfeld has never been on TV. Nobody knows Jerry Seinfeld. Nobody really knows Larry David. Everybody in L.A. has a pilot. Everybody. That is what they do. 1 out of 90 go. So he says, I'm working on a pilot with Jerry Seinfeld. And I look at him with as much disdain and condescension as I possibly could. And I go, oh, good for you.
Wow.
Years later, it's Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld. But on that day, it was, very good. Good for you.
And it's also
it was as condescending as I can remember. It was as condescending as anybody could possibly be. And I told Larry about it because I remember it. I remember because a friend of mine, do you know, well, her name is Talia Balsam. She was married to George Clooney,
yes.
and she's presently married to John Slattery. Two great men, and she is a great woman, a great actress. I know her mom. I've known her for years. Anyway, she actually was cast in that pilot, and then it was called The Seinfeld Chronicles, and then it was rejiggered, and they added more people, and they replaced Talia at the time with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
And now the rest is history, and that might be the last time Larry David played a public golf course, maybe, after all.
Of course, yes, absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Oh, Richard Kahn here on the Rich Eisen Show. But by the way, that was another reset, Richard. That was another reset. That was another reset. I just reset who I'm talking to. Richard Kahn.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Rich Eisen. That's very nice.
That's what I was doing.
We're listening to the Rich Eisen Show, aren't we?
Yes, we are. By the way, that's another. We could use that as a drop.
Buddy.
Hey, you mentioned George's name, George Clooney, and George has told many stories about you, Richard, on late night television, and the one story that I love, that I'd love to hear from your perspective, is You can't. Yeah, I refuse to talk about it. It's the litter box story. Anybody wants to hear about it, there are plenty of avenues. You can read it. You can hear it, I think, most recently on Howard Stern. Yes.
I think he told it on Leno.
But why won't you tell it? Why won't you tell it, Richard? Why won't you tell it?
I'll tell it. I'll tell it. It's the same thing, but because everybody's heard it.
But never from your perspective. We've only heard it from George Clooney's perspective, Richard.
Okay, I will tell you, I really hate this. And I haven't heard.
I'm sorry you hate it, but
he is a great, great storyteller.
Yes.
And every once in a while, he'll embellish something, but it's worth it.
Okay.
It is worth the embellishment. He claims that I gave the cat laxative. I did not.
Okay, so start from the beginning. You're roommates and you have a cat, Richard?
I'm not telling the story. I'm not telling the story. It's old hat. It's old hat. Let's make this particular interview suspenseful and have everybody say, wow, I want to hear this story rather than, oh, God, not this story again.
No, but there's so many listeners who don't know it, Richard. And again, if you don't want to...
let them read it or look it up on Google. It's there. They're not going to hear it from me. I don't tell it as well as George. He delights in it. I'm the victim as always. The perpetrator tells it with relish and delight. I'm the I can't.
Careful.
I'm the victim. I am the person you laugh at.
No. Richard.
Okay, I'll tell you another great story. But listen.
Yes.
He pulls great practical jokes.
Yes.
I can't even remember. I think I once tried to pull a practical joke on him.
Okay.
I might have been successful, but the retaliation is not worth it. He is Machiavellian. He's Rasputin-esque. He just thinks 6 steps ahead. He's just a smart man.
He's Clooney.
He thinks steps ahead. I don't think. I live in the present. He thinks steps ahead. That's why he's a good director. And you just can't cross him. And if you do, it's he knows it. I remember we planned a birthday party, a surprise birthday party for him when I first got to know him. And just as we were walking up the sidewalk to the door, he slips a note into my hand, and he walks in and he's surprise. And I look at the note and he goes, "This is a surprise party." He's awful. He's just awful. He really is. You can't pull anything by him.
Surprise to you.
Anyway, enough about George. He gets his own publicity.
Yes, let's talk about your show, Hudson Falls, on Amazon this summer.
Well, this is an interesting sort of thing on a couple of counts.
Yes.
First of all, in the old days, people would say, oh, I've got this pilot. I want to do this pilot. I have this idea. In the old days, people didn't want pilots. They wanted the 87th episode of the TV series that you are pitching.
Yes.
Because that's the only way to make money. But nowadays, you don't need a network. You don't need that 87th episode. You can put it on YouTube and or whatever a medium you want to use, Amazon, Netflix, whatever it is. This is going to be on Amazon. And who knows? People might like it. And if they do, then they'll pick it up and they'll pour money into it. Such is the case with this. This was the origin is really interesting. This guy, Elias, and it's a Greek last name, Pantangius. I can't never remember or pronounce it. But he's a wonderful, wonderful creative writer and director who had been approached by, I can't remember who it is, but by an organization that wanted to make a pilot that dealt in science. Okay?
Yes.
So he wrote about women working like in the Congo, women doctors, nurses, taking care. And it was an interesting series, but way too much about science. So they came back to him and they said, we really liked the series. It was very good. It was beautifully shot. It was, the locations, everything like that. We don't want it so much about science. We want science to be a part of it, a component of it, but let's make a really good, interesting show, a real good story. So he wrote a murder mystery about genetic engineering in foods and stuff like that, where the big company that was doing genetic engineering were just sort of the criminals, and somebody knew a little too much, and they were murdered. And in comes this pretty decent private eye, which is me.
That's you.
Sort of a slump, not necessarily Columbo, but certainly, not even Sam Spade, but a guy like that. I'm a
You're a
private
gumshoe.
eye.
You're a gumshoe. You're a gumshoe.
That is what I am.
You're
I am
a gumshoe, Richard. You're a gumshoe.
I look the way that I am, a gumshoe, a private dick.
Yes.
Okay, why not? I know your audience. So anyway, I'm a private detective, and I look into it. So we did a pilot. The people who are in it are superior. Bill Paxton, oh my God, he played the devil in the Bill and Ted's movie. He's a great actor. He was a Julius Caesar.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. He's a great actor. So he's in it. Jessica Hecht, a brilliant, Tony-nominated actress who I've been lucky enough to work with and know. A brilliant actress. God,
Tara
I can't
Westwood.
think of his name because I'm old.
Lara Westwood.
Who else is in it?
Tara Westwood's in
Who?
it. I got it. Robert John
Tara
Burke's
Westwood.
here. And also
Yes,
it's Elias Plagianos is the name of your director.
Good for you for being able to read.
Well,
I know.
again,
I
I'm a lead pipe wielding professional, Richard. I've got cards
You
in front
are.
of me
You
and I've
come
got information.
You
I
see?
try my
And
best.
Do I come prepared for this interview? No, I just came to talk. As a matter of fact, people think this is an interview. It's not. This is Rich Kind going, hey, my buddy, Rich Eisen, how you doing?
That is right.
Let's
It's just,
talk.
it's two friends together. And again, it's Hudson
Exactly.
Falls.
I have a beer. It's 2:30 in the afternoon for me, and I have a beer because I'm talking to my good friend Rich.
I love it. And it's on Amazon this summer. It's called Hudson Falls.
It's quite good. It's quite beautiful. And what was really interesting
Yes, Richard.
is this we shot in July. The first thing we shot after COVID sort of, I don't want to say relaxed, but actually became more stringent with their rules.
Right.
We got tested. It was the first time. And I've been working a lot since July, but this we did in about 4 or 5 days.
Awesome.
Under very strict COVID rules. And I think it came out pretty good. And it was done for a song for nothing. It was done. It's very inexpensive. And it really came out interestingly. I think the story is interesting. And let's hope that it does something. I really, people may want to watch it and maybe vote to have it continue and find out who is the killer and who was killed and things like that.
Sure. It's on Hudson Falls. It's on Amazon this summer. Richard, I appreciate the call. Let me know when you're back out here. We'll tee it up with my index and yours will be unbeatable. Unbeatable.
Unbeatable. We'll take everybody's money. We get so many shots.
It'll be great. It'll be great. Candy all around.
Rich, my love to your family, please.
Same to you, Richard. Right back at you. Okay. That's the one and only Richard Kind, everybody. He will not tell the story.
Won't do it.
Look at Larry. Look at LD and Richard right there playing golf. Look at that. Won't tell the story about the cat litter box that George Clooney has told on literally every late night show when they were roommates together.
Go check it out.
Do Google it and understand that Richard did not give the animal a laxative. Says George was embellishing there. Fantastic. I cannot wait to tell that to everybody that knows Richard Kind here in Los Angeles that I know, which is about 1,000 people. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.